Congratulations! You're a snipe eel. You've got a mouth that looks like a pair of bent tweezers and a body that's basically an underwater shoelace. Sounds unique, right? Like evolution gave you something special. Wrong. You're a 4-foot-long piece of spaghetti with a broken face, and your entire existence is one long exercise in biological failure. Let me explain why your life is an absolute disaster. The broken design? Okay, so you're born. You're a baby snipe eel, and immediately, you notice something is very wrong with your body. First of all, you're thin. Like, disturbingly thin. You're about 4 feet long when fully grown, but you're only as thick as a pencil. You look like someone tried to draw a fish, gave up halfway through, and just drew a wavy line instead. You're not streamlined. You're not muscular. You're just string. You're a biological piece of yarn with delusions of being a predator. But here's where things get really stupid. Your mouth. Your jaws are long. Ridiculously long. They extend forward like a pair of nose pliers that someone bent the wrong way, and they don't close properly. That's right. Your mouth is permanently open in this weird curved shape that makes you look like you're perpetually shocked by your own existence. And those jaws, they're lined with tiny, backward pointing teeth that are almost useless for actually biting anything. They're more like suggestions of teeth, decorative teeth, teeth that gave up on being functional. God looked at you and said, "What if we made a fish, but removed everything that makes a fish good at being a fish?" The hunting disaster. Let's talk about how you're supposed to hunt. Because it's absolutely pathetic. Your entire strategy is based on those weird, curved jaws. You're supposed to swim through the water with your mouth open, and when small crustaceans or shrimp bump into your jaws, they get tangled in your tiny teeth like they're caught in a net. You're not actively hunting. You're not chasing prey. You're literally just hoping things accidentally swim into your face. You're a passive fisher. You're the ocean's equivalent of someone who sits on their hoping pizza flies in from the window. And here's the problem. The deep ocean where you live is basically empty. Food is incredibly scarce. The chances of something randomly bumping into your open mouth, astronomically low. So you spend your entire life swimming around in the darkness with your broken tweezers extended, hoping for a miracle that almost never comes. You're playing the lottery where the jackpot is not starving to death today. Oh, and because your body is so thin and elongated, you can't swim fast. You can't chase anything. You just kind of wiggle. Slowly. Like a sad ribbon in a gentle breeze. Your top speed is pathetic. Your acceleration is, why bother? Your hunting efficiency is, please let me die? But surely those specialized jaws give you some advantage, right? Surely you're at least good at catching something. Nope, not even close. Because here's the thing. Your jaws are so specialized for one specific hunting method that when it doesn't work, which is most of the time, you're completely screwed. The evolutionary mistake. Let's talk about what happens when you actually do catch something. Because even success is a disaster for you. Say a small shrimp bumps into your jaws and gets tangled in your teeth. Great! Food! Except now what? Your jaws don't close properly, remember, and your teeth point backward, which means they're great at preventing things from escaping, but terrible at actually moving food into your mouth. So you have to awkwardly shake your head and wiggle your jaws to try to work the prey backward toward your throat. It's like trying to eat with chopsticks that are glued in the wrong position. And if your prey struggles even a little bit, it can escape, because your teeth are tiny, your jaws are weak, you've got the bite force of a disappointed grandma. You're not a predator. You're a malfunctioning pool skimmer with anxiety. Now let's talk about the biggest problem with your design. Nobody even knows if this hunting method actually works in real life. Scientists have theories about how you hunt. They think you catch things in your jaws, but they've never actually seen you do it successfully in the wild because you live so deep and you're so rare that studying you is nearly impossible. For all we know, your entire hunting strategy is wrong and you're just out there starving to death while scientists write confident papers about your fascinating adaptations. You might be living proof that evolution sometimes creates mistakes and just lets them float around suffering until they go extinct. But the broken mouth and terrible hunting ability, those are nothing compared to what happens when you try to reproduce. Because your love life is so weird and so poorly understood that it borders on body horror. The metamorphosis nightmare. Alright, here's where your life goes from sad to, what the hell is even happening? When you're young, you look relatively normal. Well, as normal as a spaghetti fish can look. You've got those weird curved jaws, but at least you're recognizable as a fish. But when you reach sexual maturity, your body goes through a metamorphosis. And by metamorphosis, I mean your body falls apart, your jaws, they start to shrink and change shape. In some species, they basically become useless. Your teeth, they fall out or become so small they might as well not exist. Your digestive system, it starts to degenerate. That's right, your stomach and intestines basically stop working. Why? Because once you're ready to reproduce, evolution has decided you don't need to eat anymore. You're just supposed to find a mate, reproduce, and die. Except here's the problem, finding a mate in the pitch black abyss when you're a 4-foot-long piece of string is nearly impossible. The ocean is massive. You're tiny. There's no light. There's no G-piece. There's no Tinder for eels. You're swimming around in complete darkness, slowly starving because your digestive system stopped working, desperately trying to find another snipe eel before you die. And if you don't find a mate, congratulations. You just suffered through your entire terrible life for nothing. You're gonna die alone, hungry, and disappointed. The identity crisis. Oh, and here's a fun fact that makes your existence even more ridiculous. Scientists didn't even know adult snipe eels and juvenile snipe eels were the same species for the longest time. You changed so much during metamorphosis that researchers thought you were two different animals. They'd catch a juvenile with the long curved jaws and say, "Oh, interesting eel." Then they'd catch an adult with a completely different mouth structure and say, "Oh, a different interesting eel." It took decades to figure out you were the same creature, just going through the world's most confusing puberty. You don't even have a stable identity. You're out here shifting like a biological choose-your-own-adventure book, and both versions suck. And let's talk about your eyes. As a juvenile, you have relatively normal eyes, but as you mature, they get bigger and change position, moving more toward the top of your head. Why? Scientists think it's to help you see bioluminescent prey or mates from below. But again, they're not really sure because studying you is nearly impossible. You might be walking around with giant stupid eyes for no reason. Your entire body might be optimized for a lifestyle that doesn't even work. The loneliness factor. Let's talk about your social life. Or rather, your complete lack of one. You're solitary, completely alone. You don't travel in schools. You don't have friends. You don't even have enemies because you're too pathetic to be worth anyone's time. You just drift through the void by yourself, slowly wiggling your string body, hoping food randomly bumps into your broken mouth. And remember, your entire adult phase is dedicated to finding a mate. That's your one job. But you're doing it blind, in the dark, across millions of cubic miles of empty ocean. The odds of finding another snipe eel are so low that most of you probably die without ever reproducing. You're living the most depressing dating app experience imaginable. Except the app is the entire ocean, and there are maybe 3 matches total in your area. And when you do finally find a mate, if you're lucky enough, you reproduce, and then immediately die, because your body has already started shutting down. You don't get to enjoy success. You don't get retirement. You get one moment of achievement, and then death. And here's the cherry on top. Nobody cares about you. You're not in nature documentaries, because you're too boring and too hard to film. You're not a conservation concern, because scientists barely know anything about your population. You're not even interesting to most people, because you just look like a weird noodle with a broken mouth. When humans do catch you in research nets, they go, "Huh, weird. Take some measurements, and toss you back." Or you're already dead from the pressure change. You don't get respect. You don't get attention. You're just there, existing, suffering in obscurity. You're a biological footnote that nobody reads. Let's recap your absolutely pathetic existence. You're born as a 4-foot-long piece of string with a mouth that looks like bent tweezers. You can't hunt effectively. You can't swim fast. You can't defend yourself. You spend your entire youth hoping food accidentally bumps into your face. Then, when you hit puberty, your body falls apart. Your jaws stop working. Your digestive system shuts down. You're forced to find a mate in the pitch black abyss before you starve to death, which almost never happens because the ocean is enormous, and you're basically invisible. And if you do succeed, you reproduce once and immediately die. You don't have a life. You have a tragic countdown to inevitable failure. Being a snipe eel isn't just hard. It's proof that evolution sometimes designs creatures with zero chance of long-term success and just lets them suffer until natural selection does its job. You're a mistake with fins, and your entire species is probably headed for extinction. Honestly, you never had a chance. If you thought the snipe eel was pathetic, you absolutely need to see my next video where I roast the hagfish, a creature so disgusting it produces gallons of slime, ties itself in knots, and eats dead things from the inside out. It's nightmare fuel, and you're going to love it. Click now.